Asmatgurubhyo Namaha. Om Paramagurubhyo Namaha. Om Sarvagurubhyo Namaha. Jnananandamayam Devam Nirmalam Spatikakritim Adharam Sarvavidyanam Hayagrivam Upasmati. Today we will start the discussion or the lessons on what Advaitam means. In the last session, we went through the 18 seeds of knowledge, where we discussed initially on why do we have to understand the philosophy, the necessity of philosophy. Without the philosophy, our faith will be shaken, either within ourselves or through other forces from outside. Therefore, it is important we understand the philosophy. Second reason is the philosophy makes our bhakti more deeper. If we don't understand who God is, what He does, how He does things, then just knowing God is there is going to be a surface level bhakti. But if you want to go deeper into bhakti to appreciate more about the Lord, then we definitely have to know the philosophy behind it. And not only that, we also have to be convinced by ourselves, and also we should be able to convince others. Therefore, it is important that we understand the philosophy. For everything we need to know, for everything that we need to know in this world, we need to have some sort of tool to understand what that is. How do we understand God? How do we understand what Jivatma is? How do we understand this Prakriti? Therefore, there should be some pramanam, a tool to create the knowledge of anything that we think about, we talk about, we do an action about. So therefore, there should be some tools to have a knowledge of that particular object, any object for that matter. Now, there are three ways that one can develop knowledge. The first one is pratyaksha pramanam. Pratyaksha pramanam is either through our senses or through some yogic mystic power or through some divine intervention. Pratyaksha pramanam. I need some eyes, I need some yogic power so that I can understand the certain objects. That is pratyaksha pramanam. Anuman pramanam is where inference, applying some logics to whatever we already have cultivated or acquired in the past, the knowledge that we acquired in the past. That is called Anuman Pramanam. These are very important. These two pramanams, are important. But these pramanam can only tell us and give us information about the worldly things. It cannot give the reality of the ultimate truth of what and how God is, what Jivatma is, what karma means, what moksha means, what does it look like once after attaining a moksha, what a spiritual world means. All this different information cannot be perceived by the pratyaksha pramanam or anumanam pramanam. Therefore, we need help of something which can tell us what they are, and that is called Shabda Pramanam. Shabda Pramanam are nothing but the Vedas. Without the help of the Vedas, we cannot understand those things which cannot understand from this world. Therefore, Vedas are the Shabda Pramanam. The Vedas are classified into two parts. One is called Purva Kanda, another one is called Uttara Kanda. Purva Kanda speaks about Aradhana. Aradhana means the worship that one has to perform, how to perform certain worship, what needs to be done, how to make some arrangement for yaga, yagya, puja, different things, how to do things. Aradhiyan, that is whom to be worshipped, is been mentioned, or the subject matter of the discussion for the Uttarakanda, which is also known as Jnanakanda or Brahmakanda. So this is how these two things are classified. Now, over the period of the time, what happened is that the intelligence of people were degrading day by day. Therefore, the great sages thought there should be something which to support the Vedas and sanity of the Vedas, to protect the Vedas. Therefore, they wrote Veda Anga. Veda Anga are six Vedangas: Siksha, Chandasa, Vyakarana, Nirukti, Kalpa, and then Jyotism. Those are the 6 things they've written. And this is we covered in the last presentation also. Why? These are the things for us to really focus on listening to the Vedas. Vedas, to hear about Vedas, one has to have a really a good sharp hearing capacity. If they cannot hear, then nothing is going to sustain within themselves. Therefore, any time when we are trying to hear any spiritual topic, we really have to focus on hearing that topic rather than trying to do multiple things and add hearing also as another item while we are doing multiple other things. So it's very important for us to sustain what we heard. We have to only did completely without deviation. We have to focus on hearing the subject matter. And over the period of the time, that was lacking. Therefore, these 6 angas have been created for us to increase our listening capacity, so we can hear properly. After we hear properly, then the contemplation comes into the picture. We have to start contemplating what we heard. After contemplating, we start meditating of that we contemplated. And then as we continue meditation, as we meditate, when the meditation becomes focused, without any deviation, single focused, then we will be able to see the Lord within ourselves. This is what the scripture says. And then we also saw on the 8 Upangas as Puranas, Nyaya Shastra, Mimamsa Shastra, Ayurveda, Gandharva Veda, Dhanur Veda, Artha Shastra, all the different things we saw. They are also helping one to contemplate on what we heard. Therefore, even though there are 6 angas and 8 different upangas, but everything is there to support the Vedas. Satyam Satyam Punas Satyam Udritya Bhujya Uchchache. We also saw this one. Therefore, Satyam Satyam Punas Satyam. I'm saying again and again and again, raising my hands up. Vedat Sastram Param Nasti. Vedat Sastram Param Nasti means there is nothing superior than the Vedas. Na Devam Keshavat Param. There is no other God who is superior than Keshava. We also saw this one. Then we saw the orthodox schools of thought. There are 6 schools of thought, and there are also 6 philosophies. 6 philosophies and 6 madam. Vaishnava madam, Saiva madam, Sankhya, Sakshata, Shaurya, and Ghanapatya, all those different religions. And also we saw the religions, the philosophy as Nyaya Shastra, Mimamsa Shastra, Sankhya, Yoga Shastra, Purva Mimamsa, Uttara Mimamsa. We saw this one also. Again, I told very clearly, these are not one-on-to-one mapping. These are different philosophies. These are different 6 religions. The religion must have a philosophy. And the philosophy to sustain, it must have a religion to follow. Also, one religion, one philosophy can be adopted by multiple religions. They can believe in certain Devata, certain SiddhAdvaita, but can follow one principle or one philosophy. That is also okay. So that we saw. Next, we saw the heterodox religion, which do not believe in the Vedas. They are 3 in number primarily. Now we may have more, but as per the history, we see there are 3 main ones: Buddhism, Jainism, and ChArvAka. Buddhism follows Sunyavadam, and then the Jainism follows Saptabhangivadam, and then ChArvAka followed the Lokayikas. They also called Slokayikas, the material style of life. They don't believe anything other than what you see is what is life. That's all. That's how we saw this one. And the next is that we saw how this Vedas, the ultimate conclusion of Vedas are Upanishads. The Upanishads are also known as Vedanta. The Vedanta, which is supported by all the Acharyas. All the Acharyas who follow Sanatana Dharma, they primarily focus on the Upanishad. Upanishad, Brahma Sutram, and Bhagavad Gita. These are the 3 important literatures of Sanatana Dharma. Everything else is to support these 3 literatures. Also, these 3 literatures also to support the Vedas. So that we have to understand. But ultimately, everyone stick on to the Vedanta. Any acharyas we can name it, they all go, who follows into the Sanatana Dharma, they follow the Vedanta, the Upanishad part, the Brahma Sutra, which is compiled by Veda Vyasa, and the Bhagavad Gita. They also, even though they follow these things, they also categorize into two groups. One is absolutism, and another one is theism. Absolutism means one who accept the absolute truth, the truth to be impersonal. And another group of the schools of thought, they accepted the truth to be personal. This is what we have covered in the last session. Now I'm going to share the screen so we can get on to the today's presentation. Very interesting and very important presentation as well. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Okay. Before we start on Advaitam, let's all offer our pranam to the great Acharya, Adishankara, who is the founder of this philosophy, and falling at his feet, let's pray that we can understand what he has taught to the world in a way that he has taught to the world for world's benefit. Shruti, Smriti, Purananam, Alayam, Karunalayam, Namami Bhagavat Padam, Shankaram, Loka Shankaram. Now, in this important point is, as I said earlier, Shankaracharya, RAmAnuja, MadhvAcArya, or anyone for that matter, these are the three principal acharyas, and then every other schools that came later, or the subsection or subcategory of sub-branch of these schools of thoughts. So the primarily Shankaracharya, RAmAnuja, and MadhvAcArya, they all accepted Vedas, and the followers and the sub-branch of these three also accept the Vedas. What is so special about Vedas? We'll just spend a few minutes on understanding why Vedas. Why Vedas? If Vedas are the foundation for the Sanatana Dharma. If we don't have Vedas, then we cannot call ourselves, as we are calling today, as Hindus. Because whether you believe in Lord Shiva, whether you believe in Lord Vishnu, whether you believe in Ganapati or in Kartikeya or Mother Parvati, Durga, Devi, whatever, if there is no Vedas as a base, then we cannot call them as Sanatana Dharma or Hindu religion. They all can be classified separately as different religion within the Constitution of India. Even though they have different faith on God, even though they have different philosophy that follow, but everyone, whether you are Shaivate or Vaishnavate or whatever you are, everyone accepted Vedas as authority. Therefore, everyone comes under this umbrella called Sanatana Dharma. You can understand, if Vedas are not there, India is, or the Sanatana Dharma, Hindu religion is divided. One cannot call oneself as a Hindu. They have to name it with different names, because Vedas are not their base. Because they all accepted Vedas, foundation as a foundation or fundamental literature. Therefore, we can call everyone falls under Sanatana Dharma. Now, like for any other literature, we always have references. We need to refer to where did you quote this from. If you're writing an article, if you're writing a paper, at the bottom you got to give references. Where is the proof of what you are saying? So, right? Whether it is Ramayana, whether it's Mahabharata, whether it is any other Puranas for that matter, everything, every Puranas, every Itihasas, anything that we read, they all have to have an authority. That authority is Veda. If they are telling something which is not told in the Vedas, then we reject that literature. Therefore, we should understand the importance of Vedas. Veda are the ultimate authority. Now, when we read Vedas, when we study Vedas, whatever said in Vedas, we cannot go and refer to Puranas or Itihasas. That is not the way it works. And there's no other literature that can justify and prove that what Vedas telling is true. That is the pinnacle of authority. That is the ultimate authority. Whatever Veda says, you cannot cross-reference to any other literature. We have to take it as it is. Whereas any other literature, whatever we study, we have to make sure what is said, it's there in the Vedas. The well-known Bhagavad Gita became prominent and very special. Everyone appreciates just because what is said in Bhagavad Gita is exactly what is said in Vedas. We should not go the other way around. We accept Bhagavad Gita, we accept Vedas because Bhagavad Gita says. It's not that way. We accept Bhagavad Gita because what is said in the Bhagavad Gita is there in the Upanishad. Sarva Upanishado Gavaha Dokta Gopala Nandana. Now, the third important point is all other literatures that we can think of is all created by human. The human may be a very empowered, Avesha Shakti, or special human, but still they are human. Every literature that we find in the world are written by human. But whereas Vedas are not written by human, we should understand that one. Oh, okay, maybe it is written by God. Even God did not write it, by the way. It is the wish and will of the Lord, which took a form of Vedas. Therefore, we can understand whatever is mentioned here on the screen is very unique to Vedas alone. You cannot match these points to any other literature, by the way. It's very unique. That's why Vedas are ultimate authority. So third point is it's not created by human. No one created it. Number 4 is when was it, when it came into existence? Is there a time frame? Well, it's never got created. Therefore, there's no date for it. Vedas was never created. It's been existing forever, time immemorial, anadi. It's never got. Now, the 5th point is the whole world get destroyed. That means what happened to the Vedas? Everything that which came from the Lord goes back to the Lord himself. So what happened to the Vedas? Vedas should also go away, right? Well, therefore, we should understand Vedas are Nityam, meaning it is always present. It is always present because when the creation comes back again, the Vedas also comes back again. Therefore, we can understand Vedas are eternal. It is not destroyed. We covered this one also in the previous case. For example, just to make us understand, if someone is killed, someone shot him and he dies, but he comes back again with the same body, the person who shot him is going to accept him as he is. He's not going to tell he's a different person. As long as that person comes back with the same body, then we accept that person as the same person. Likewise, after the creation, during the destruction, it goes away. After the creation, the same Vedas without any change, no modification. In the way that it's been pronounced, the recitation, everything remains same. It comes back as it was before. From this, we can understand Vedas are indestructible, cannot be destroyed. It is eternal. More than any other literatures, Vedas are the one which can be trusted. Because as we said in the top point number 3, Vedas are not created by human, whereas other literatures are all created by human. There could be chances of their influence in their literature. Whoever that may be, there could be some influence of their philosophy, their ideas, whatever it may be. But that's not the case with the Vedas. Vedas is trustable. It is common to all. It doesn't give any favorism to a particular person or a nation or whatever it may be. So it's just talks the truth. Therefore, that's number 6. Vedas are the only one which called as Shruti. Nothing else is called as Shrutis. Shruti means Vedas cannot be typed, cannot be written, cannot be in the book format. Nowadays, we have those things because of Manda Buddhi. We don't have that capacity of memorizing everything. Therefore, we have everything over there in the internet and everywhere. But in the reality, Vedas means Shruti, only to be heard from a guru to a disciple to his disciple, and so forth. It's not written at all. So Shruti is a term which is specific to Vedas. No other literature can be called as Shrutis. Number 8, Anantavai Vedaha. Vedas, though we say that is four in number, Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda, Atharvana Veda, actually it is just for our easy way to understand. We number them. But Vedas are unlimited. We cannot measure the Vedas. It's unlimited. In the last session also, we saw a story of Bharadwaja Muni, where he wanted to learn the Vedas, but Indra said it's not possible. We cannot complete it. So we can understand that Vedas are Anantavai Vedaha, unlimited. And Vedas is the one which everyone accepted. That is why we are having this course. Namely, every orthodox schools of thought, they all accepted Vedas. If Veda says, there's no other pramanam is needed to justify that one. And the last point is, Veda teaches Artha Panchakam. Artha Panchakam is where the five important essence of life. Who is God? What is Jivatma? Who am I? And what is the path that I need to follow to attain and connect that I and the Lord? Paramatma and Jivatma. What are the means to attain the Lord? If I know the means to attain the Lord, what is the stopping me? Obstacle. That is number 4. My karma and vasanas is stopping me. Those are the number 4. And the 5th one is phalam. Phalam is what am I going to attain by doing these things, by making connection with the Lord, by following the bhakti yoga and removing all the obstacles. What am I going to achieve? I'm going to achieve mukti, moksha. How was it look to? How was it going to be in moksha? This is what the Veda teaches. On all of the scriptures are derived from what has been told in Vedas. That's all. Now, with that said, we are going to see some biography of Adishankaracharya. We should understand many years back, India especially was very well versed with the Vedas, and they were strictly following all that's been told in the Vedas. But there were some people who did not follow the Vedas in a way that they are supposed to follow. They started using the Vedas for their selfish reasons, for their materialistic thing, to gain something out of the Vedas. Therefore, they started using the Karma Kanda portion to get something. By then, what happened is the other people came into the existence and they said the Vedas are not to be believed because it only talks about killing animals and getting material things. But those people lost faith already because their idea was to only get something out of the Vedas. They forgot that doing all this thing is to please the Lord. The second part they forgot, or they didn't have faith in that one. They only focus on the Karma Kanda section. Therefore, they started doing many things. As they started doing many things, then there came religion, prominent religions like Buddhism and Jainism, where they started telling, therefore, do not believe in the Vedas. Vedas talks about killing. Killing is not good, and it's all materialistic thing. Therefore, they started preaching their philosophy. And some kings started accepting those religions, Buddhism and Jainism. They started taking this one. Buddhism, especially, they spoke about how one should understand that they do not believe in Atma as well, by the way. So they started preaching their ideas over there, and some kings started liking it. And they become the follower of Buddhism and Jainism. And those kings who believed in the religion, and those who didn't believe in the religion, those who believed in the Vedas, those who did not believe in Vedas, they started fighting with each other. There were a lot of fight and battle among these people. At that point of time, the great soul called Adishankaracharya, who appeared, this was in 8th century, said 788 to 820 common era. During that time, Adishankaracharya appeared. But before Adishankaracharya appeared, there were another great 2 souls who were debating and fighting and trying to save the Sanatana Dharma. Parthur Panchaka and Kumarila Bhatta. Those are the 2 great saints who tried their best to save the Sanatana Dharma. But Adi Shankaracharya, when he appeared, he was very successful to save the Vedas due to due to the influence of Buddhism and Jainism, people who lost the God, lost the faith in God, lost belief in the Vedas, Adishankaracharya came and he invoked or re-established the Dharma, Sanatana Dharma, and made authority, the Vedas as the authority. Vedas as the authority. And also, let's move on to the next slide here. Yeah. Also, this is a history, slide history about what we just spoke here. The Vedas, where the Karma Kanda part is being focused for many people in the Sanatana Dharma, and they totally forgot to follow the Jnana Kanda, the Brahma Kanda. They left the Upanishad part, the Brahma Kanda part, and they followed the Purva Kanda part. And that's where the Avedis came into the picture, the Buddhism, Jainism, and the ChArvAka. The Buddhism focused on the good character and good instructions. They don't believe in the Atma, Kshanam. Everything is constantly keep changing. Everything keeps constantly changing. There's nothing called Atma. Even if it is Atma, when I agree to Atma, Atma also keeps changing every given second, moment. Every moment, it keeps changing. That is Buddhism faith and teachings. And Jainism, they focus on the Ahimsa. They only focus on the Ahimsa, but they believed in Atma. For them, the moksha is keep on going up. The Atma, after the death, they keep on going, raising up. That is their Jainism, that is their philosophy. And ChArvAka is focused on the material enjoyment. Body and Atma are one and the same. They are not separate. They are not different. They are one and the same. That's how these three religions started occupying and captivating and converting people into these three philosophies. It is what that time in a state called Kerala, the southern part of India, Kerala, which is in India, and Surnai, there's a nadi or a river called Surnai Nadi, and a village called Kaladi. In the Kaladi, there was a couple by, let me move to the next slide. Okay. So this is the life history of Adishankaracharya. So in the place called Kaladi in Kerala, there were very sattvic couple by name Shivaguru Aryambal. The person name was Shivaguru and his wife's name was Aryamba. They didn't have child for many, many years. And they prayed to Lord Shiva to have a child. One day, Lord Shiva appeared in their dream, in his dream, and he asked Shivaguru, do you need a son who lives for 100 years, but doesn't have intelligence? Or you want a son who's short-lived, but very sharp, very, very intelligent? Which one do you prefer? And Shiva Guru said, I want the latter one, the second one. Living life for a long period is not a big matter. It's not a big achievement, big thing. What you achieve in short period matters. Therefore, if I can get a son, short-lived, but very intelligent, very sattvic, very special, I will go with that son. And then on a Chaitya Masa, Adi Shankaracharya appeared to this couple. On this couple. This was AD 788, he appeared. And within the age of 4, he finished reading, he mastered Sanskrit. He completed reading Itihasas and Puranas. Not only that, he is very well with multiple languages and the local place in that area. He was very well versed in multiple languages. At the age of 5, he got Upanayana, the sacred third ceremony. When he was 5, he got the sacred third ceremony. You may ask this question, I may say question that usually it is said one has to be 7 years or 8 years to get Upanayana. But the rule is that if a child can pronounce mantra without any difficulty, if a child can recite what has been told by a guru without any difficulty, that means that boy is ready for Upanayana. So from this we can understand how sharp Adi Shankaracharya must have been. And that is his childhood time. In his childhood time, what happened was one day, he usually as a Brahmana, they go to Bhiksha. They don't go to IT job and try to find some jobs in market. Rather, the way they lived is they only studied Vedas, and they teach Vedas, they perform yajna, they do yajna to others and teach yajnas to the other Brahmanas, and they take charity and they give charity to others. This is their lifestyle. They don't do anything extra more than this. So one day, Adi Shankaracharya was going on alms to get something bhiksha. So he goes house door to door. So one time he went to a house where that house lady, um, that's a tradition that when such person comes, you have to give something. So, but unfortunately, that family was not well-to-do family, the poverty-stricken family. So she didn't know what to do, what to give at the time. So she was thinking what at the time all she had was a very small gooseberry, gooseberry, only one that too. She brought it and dropped it into the pot of Shankara's pot. Shankara saw this, he understood the family situation. As soon as he saw the family is in poverty, he started singing. He composed a stotram called Kanakadhara Stotram. Immediately on the spot, when he sang the stotram, to her, the Ejamana, the householder's surprise, there were gold coins showering from the sky in front of their house. That was a superhuman piece that Adi Shankara was doing. One time, Adi Shankara, Shankara's mother, usually they go to the close by river, they take shower, a bath, and they wash their clothes and come back. Now that the style is, no one goes to the river, we don't even have a river much close by. Everything is within the house itself, right? But that's the tradition in those days. There's no bathrooms, things like that. They have to go to a separate place outside the house and they finish the job and come back. Likewise, Adi Shankara, by the way, by then, Adi Shankara father passed away also. So one point of time, his mother fell sick. She was not able to go to the river to take her bath and she was feeling bad. But Adi Shankara, with his power, he brought a part of that Churni river to his house. It started running towards his house, and his mother was able to take shower, bath, and do whatever karma she has to do. So those are some of the simple couple of things in Adi Shankara's life during his childhood time. Then what happened was his mother knows very well about Adi Shankara. That Shankara, not Adi Shankara until now, Shankara. So she knows that Shankara wanted to take sannyas. He want to become renounced, take a renounced order of life. He want to become sannyas. But she didn't want him to become sannyas. So she planned in such a way that somehow or the other, if Shankara get married, then he won't go anywhere and he will stay home. But Shankara doesn't want to get married. He wants to get into sannyas order of life. One point of time, he was in the river when Shankara was there taking bath. There was a crocodile. The crocodile caught hold of Shankara's foot. And his mother was near the seashore. And she didn't know what to do. But Shankara said, my dear mother, at the time of emergency, this is a tradition that is followed in those days, that the time of emergency, when knows one is going to leave their body, they can take sannyas at the emergency situation, right? So now that the crocodile caught hold of Shankara's feet, and Shankara was asking his mother, at least now, please give permission for me to take sannyas. And mother was caught in between. She don't know what to do. And she said, okay, you can take sannyas. As soon as mother gave the permission, the crocodile left Shankara. To mother's disappointment, or it's not disappointment, to her surprise, she was happy Shankara was saved. But then it all worked out in favor of Shankara by the divine arrangement. So Shankara came out and then I told his mother, don't worry, I'm going to take sannyas now, but whenever there's a need, I will be here to serve you. Think about me, or I know when there's a need, I will come and take care of you and serve you. And he left, he started walking towards Narmada River. As he was going to the Narmada River, there he saw a cave. There are many sages sitting and doing tapasya over there. And there is one great sage, Govinda Bhagavata. His name was Govinda Bhagavata. He went in front of, he was the guru of all other sages over there. So he went in front of him and prostrated himself, and with folded hands, he stood in front of him. And Govinda Bhagavata, he asked him, who are you? He just asked, who are you? For that question, who are you? He started composing on the spot 10 slokas. It's called Dasasloki, telling that who he is, who he is. And he said, he is the Satchit Anandam. He is Sat, Chit, and Ananda. That is what he told in the 10 slokas. That as soon as Govinda Bhagavatar heard this one, he said he accepted him as his disciple. Not only accepted him as his disciple, on the spot, he honored him sannyas. He made him sannyas. This was when Adishankara was 12 years old. When he was 12 years old. Then another interesting thing happened at that time. Over there, near the Narmada River, there was many villages. So at one time, what happened was the river overflowed, and it was going to flood the entire villages at that time. Adishankara, understanding this emergency situation, he started chanting Jala Karshana mantra. For several times, he started chanting. As he chanted, he was able to control the flood to destroy the entire villages. When Govinda Bhagavata, the guru of Adishankara, saw this one, then he recollected, he understood something which was told by the ancestor, especially by Veda Vyasa. Veda Vyasa Maharishi has told that one who controls the Narmada River from flooding the entire villages will be the eligible qualified person to write commentary on my Brahma Sutram. So Govinda Bhagavatar remembered what has been told earlier, and he now understood Adi Shankara is not an ordinary person. He must be a very special person. Therefore, he is the right person, as it's been already predicted that he is the one, a right qualified person to write commentaries, sutrams, on the Brahma Sutram. Then he called Adi Shankara. He said, my dear boy, he was 12 years old, by the way. He called, my dear boy, now you have to go to Kashi. And over there, you write commentaries on Brahma Sutram, not only on Brahma Sutram, you also write on Bhagavad Gita and also write commentaries on other literature. He blessed him and gave him permission to go to Kashi. Before going to Kashi, he on the way went to Badrika Ashram. He went to Badrika Ashram. It is said that over there, he saw his guru's guru, Gaudapada, Govinda Bhagavatar's guru, is Gaudapada. He had seen Gaudapada and took his blessings also. And then it is also said in his biography that he met Vyasadeva, Vyasa himself. But Vyasa came as disguised himself as an old Brahmana, and he started arguing and debating with Shankara on Brahma Sutra. They were having a lot of conversation to and fro, debating each other. At one point of time, Shankara told that, my dear sir, what is the use of the author of Brahma Sutra debating with me? As soon as Veda Vyasa heard this one, he smiled and showed his real form and blessed Adi Shankara, said, go now to Kashi and write commentaries on Brahma Sutra. Then he came to Kashi. That time also he was only 20 years old when he wrote commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Sutra, and Vishnu Sahasranamam is another one. And Upanishads, by the way, Upanishad. These are the main three things: Upanishad, Brahma Sutram, Bhagavad Gita. He wrote commentaries on these four literature. At that point of time, he accepted 4 principal disciples. SiddhAdvaita, the first one was SiddhAdvaita, and Sanandana, another one was Sanandana. Sanandana later became Padmapada. Padmapada, one time what happened when Shankara was sitting on the across of the river, and he called his disciple, this particular disciple, Sanandana, and he said, come over here. And the disciple immediately started walking without even thinking there's a water in between his guru and him. He started walking on the river. As he was placing his foot, there appeared a lotus flower. Wherever he placed his foot, lotus flower comes to withhold him. Like that, he just crossed over the river. Padmapada. After that, his name became Padmapada. He was another disciple. Prithvidharan. The another disciple who joined him was Prithvidharan. So when this young boy,
turn right onto the I-485 North Ramp to Huntersville.
When this boy, he was an young boy, he was deaf, by the way. I mean, he was dumb, by the way. He cannot speak. He cannot speak. But then he came in front of Shankara, and he was showing his interest to become the disciple of Shankara. And Shankara, knowing he cannot speak, he asked a question, "Who are you? Who are you?" And immediately that person the boy who cannot speak, he started speaking. He started telling that I am the indestructible, conscious Atma. And Adishankara accepted him. Then he became Asthamalakar. He became Asthamalakar. And the fourth disciple was Anantagiri. Totakacharya, his name changed to Totakacharya. These are the four principal disciples who joined Adi Shankaracharya over there in Kashi. And at one point of time, one day, when Shankara was walking through some cross streets of Kashi, the city of Kashi, he came across a Shudra. A Shudra had 4 dogs, and he was blocking the way where Shankara was going to pass through. And then Shankara said, "Hey, get out of here, move out of here." And that Shudra asked, "Are you asking me as Atma to move or this body to move?" As soon as the Shudra asked this question, then Shankara understood this cannot be an ordinary Shudra who doesn't know the scriptures, who doesn't understand what Atma means. Then he said, "My dear sir, I know you're not an ordinary person. Reveal yourself." And it was Lord Shiva who revealed himself. He showed himself. And then in another occasion where Shankara saw there was one old Brahmana who was almost going to die, pretty close to death, but he was trying to learn Vyakarana. He was trying to study all the different angas of the scriptures, Vedangas, to understand and study Veda. He was doing all this thing. At that point of time is when Adi Shankara, looking at this old man trying to understand grammar, all the different things, he's composed a beautiful, well-known stotram called Bhajagovindam. So what is the use of, at the time of death, what is the use of you trying to understand this, the grammars and different things that's to understand the Vedas? So he said the best thing is to chant the name of Govinda. That's the only thing which is going to help at the time of death. Nothing else is going to save. All these different things that you're trying to read is not going to help at the time of death. So then what happened? He traveled throughout India at least 3 times. The first time where he realized that his mother was sick. His mother was sick, and she's going to depart from the world. So immediately he went to that place where his mother was, and he took care of his mother, and he did all the final last rites that he has to perform as a son to his mother. He was able to do that. He did it as he promised. And the next time his guru was sick. He was also going to leave the body. At that time also he went there. He served his guru at the last stage of his life. There's one important incident that took place in Shankara's life. Very important things took place in Shankara's life. That is, there was a great scholar whose name was Mandana Mishra. According to Mandana Mishra, you remember we saw that the Vedas are divided into the 2 parts, Purva Baha and then Uttara Baha. According to Mandana Mishra, Purva Baha is the main literature or important part of the Vedas, not the Uttara Baha. But according to the Shankara, Purva Baha is not the important part. It is the Uttara Baha, the Upanishad part, are the important one to be cultivated, to be learned. They both had a big debate, big argument. Argument means they don't fight with each other. Those days, argument is not the right thing to say. It is debating. They debate with keeping Vedas as the base. Sometimes we also debate baselessly, but they debate keeping Vedas, truth as the base. According to Mandana Mishra, Purva is important. According to the Shankara, Uttara was important. They were debating for not just for an hour. They went on for many, many, many days. And the judge for this debate was Mandana Mishra's wife itself. Her name was Bharati. That means we should understand how knowledgeable that person must be to be a judge, placed as a judge and accepted by Shankara also. She's very, very intelligent. Now, at the end, Shankara established that Uttara Upanishad, is the important thing to be adapted, not the Purva. And then Mandana Mishra then surrendered as a disciple of Shankara, and his name became SureshwaraAcharya. His name was changed to SureshwaraAcharya. Even though Shankara won by debate, but then Bharati, the wife of Sureshwaraacharya, was not convinced. She said, you must have defeated my husband, but now you have to defeat me, won over me. So she started asking, she started asking questions, but the questions she asked were based on Kama Sutra. Kama Sutra, there's another literature, Kama Sutra, especially speaks about the relationship between a man and woman, husband and wife, an intimate relationship between them, where Shankara is the sannyasi. He became sannyasi directly. He was not a sannyasi, he was first a brahmachari, then grahastha, then sannyas. No, he became directly a sannyas. He never had any experience of woman, interacting with a woman. Oh, he didn't know the answer. But then he then asked Bharati, please give me some time, so I'll get you the answer. And Bharati accepted, yes, you can come back to me with the answer. Until you answer my question, I would not agree that you won the debate. And then Shankara left. As he was walking through, he saw close by in a place where there was a body of a king. He was left there. He just passed away. So Shankara understood what to do. He made a plan that he left his body in a very safe cave. No one can see it. He left his body in a place and he entered into the body of the king. We can only hear these things. We can't even imagine how these things are possible, right? The great sages can do these things. For us to leave this body and go, we'll start crying. How can I leave this body? I'm so dear to this body. This body is dear to me. So it's very hard even to imagine how is even this possible, right? But Shankara, without any problem, he left his body, sannyas body, in the cave safely. And then he entered into the body of the king who just died. And he got up and he started going to the kingdom. And he just started leading a normal life like that king, and with his wife. Right? Now, with the wife, he was leading his life. But the ministers were wondering. The ministers and everyone were wondering what's going on here, because our king is not like this. This king seemed to be very, very sattvic. He makes right decisions. His decisions are accepted by everyone. He's treating everyone nicely. He respects everyone. It seemed to be totally different. This is not how our king was. That created a doubt in the minds of these people. And the minister, they said, definitely this is not our king. If someone else have entered the body of our king. Therefore, the minister said to the soldiers and some servants, go and find out anywhere close by around the country, our country, if there is any body lying there. And if you see it, don't come and report, burn the body. Because we want a king like this, not like the king like the one that we had before. This is a perfect king to run the kingdom. So burn the body of that. If you find a body, burn the body. Right? So the soldiers went all the places, everywhere they couldn't find, and finally they came to the cave and they saw the sannyas body. They saw the sannyas body. They were very happy and they were ready and they lit fire on the body. At that time, Adishankara, who was a great sage, can see what's happening from a distance. So he understood something is happening there. He has to immediately leave this body and go into his own body, the previous body. So he left this body and entered into the body, his original body. But the fire was there. Already the fire was there, right? At that time, the fire was there. So he immediately prayed. At the time, he prayed to Lakshmi Narasimha, a stotram for Lakshmi Narasimha Karavalamba stotram. He prayed to Lord Narasimhadev to protect from this fire. Beautiful stotram. And by that prayer, Lord Narasimhadev saved him. And after that, he came back to Bharati, wife of Mandana Mrishta, Sureshwaracharya, and he responded, gave all the answers to the question that was posed to him. And Bharati surrendered herself and accepted her defeat. That has happened, another important incident that happened in his life. And not only that, later, Adishankara established Math, his centers in 4 important places. 4 places: Dwaraka, Puri, Sringeri, Jyotismath. These are the 4 places he established his Math, his centers, and appointed 4 disciples to this 4 Math. At the age of 32, can't even imagine this. And what an accomplishment he has done in 32 years. No one could ever do this one. He established everything, established the Vedas, re-established the Vedas. He brought the faith in the heart of the people who lost their faith in God and Vedas and going in wrong direction. He defeated Buddhism, Jainism, and ChArvAka. He established Math. He started preaching to the world, to entire world, how Vedas are the authority, how life is meant to attain moksha. This he was able to accomplish in 32 years. In 820 AD, he left this world. He left this world. So now we are going to see his accomplishment, especially on writings. He has written many literatures, many commentaries, many poetries. We cannot list everything in one slide. We have only given a glimpse of what he has done, his achievements, especially on the writings. All his writings can be categorized into 3: commentaries, literature, which talks about the philosophy, and the poetry. These are the different grades of his writings. The commentaries are well known. 5 important commentaries that he has written are Shankara Bhashyam. Shankara Bhashyam is nothing but the commentary to the Veda Vyasa Brahma Sutram. Brahma Sutram. So the commentary that he gave is well known as Shankara Bhashyam, commentary to the Brahma Sutra. And then Bhagavad Gita is called Bhagavad Gita Bhashyam. So Shankara's commentary on Gita is called Gita Bhashyam. It's based on the Advaita philosophy. Shankara Bhashyam on the Brahma Sutra is also based on the Advaita philosophy. Bhagavad Gita is based on the Advaita philosophy. And Upanishad, he commented, gave commentaries on Kena, Kathopanishad, Prashna Upanishad, Mandokya, Aitriya, Svetaswatra Upanishad, Chandogya Upanishad, Taitriya Upanishad, so Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Mahanarayana Upanishad. He gave commentaries on all these different Upanishads based on the Advaita philosophy. And then he also gave commentary on Sanat Sujatiya. Sanat Sujatiya is a conversation of the mind son of Brahma. He gave a commentary on that one also. And he gave a commentary on the 1,000 names of Vishnu, Sri Vishnu Sahasranama Stotram. He took all the names, each and every names, and he has given commentary on all the 1,000 names also. And on the literature side, Upadesha Saharsi. He gave this is nothing but a poetry, but this poetry is a little different because it speaks about the philosophy, mainly the philosophical point of view, on the philosophical point of view. Sahasri, Upadesha Sahasri was written by him. Manisha Panchakam. Manisha Panchakam is another one. This Manisha Panchakam is the one where he composed when he interacted with Lord Shiva, where Shiva came as a Shudra with 4 dogs. And these 4 dogs none other than the 4 Vedas. Okay. So he composed this particular thing. And then Viveka Chudamani is another one, which also to convey is SiddhAnta Advaitam. Then the poetry is unlimited. There are so many he has written, many written. He has written many poetries. Just to name some: Jagannath Ashtakam, Krishna Ashtakam, Achyuta Ashtakam, Govinda Ashtakam, as I said, Lakshmi Narasimha Karavalamba Stotram, Bhaja Govindam, and Satpati. Many such poetries are there that he has written. It cannot be just put into one slide, as I said. Now, we are going to move into a SiddhAnta. What is this SiddhAntam? What is this philosophy? How can we understand this one? So, this philosophy is called Advaitam. Dvaitam means two or more than one. Dvaita means there is no two or there is no many. There is only one. And the definition that Adishankaracharya gives to Advaitam, he himself gives this one, is Brahma Satyam Jagan Nitya Jivo Brahmaiva Na Paraha. Na Paraha. That means Brahman is Satyam, because what has been told by the others, the heterodox schools of thought, the Buddhism and Jainism, they denied Brahman. They said there's nothing called Brahman, the absolute truth. There's nothing called Brahman. But Advaita philosophy by Shankara said Brahman is Satyam. It exists. It is a Sat. Okay. What about this Jagat? Jagat means this Prakriti, whatever this creation is, this world, the universes, everything, Mithya. It is unreal. It is false. This Jagat is Mithya. Then what about Jivatma? Jivatma and Paramatma are Brahman. There's no difference. They are one and the same. It is not something called Jivatma is one type of Atma. Paramatma is another type of Atma. Jivatma and Paramatma is, have to connect together. It's not like that. They are one and the same. This is the principle. This is the philosophy of Advaitam. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Na Paraha. Shankara points that because the Buddhism said that neti. If you read the Vedas, everything it says not this, not this, not this, not this. That is the statements in the Vedas. Therefore, not this, not this, not this, which means there's no God. That is how those people interpreted it. That Vedas itself says not this, not this, not this. Therefore, God is not there. But Shankara said neti does not, because when we read the slokas from the Upanishads, it says very clearly God doesn't have a leg, God doesn't have a hand, God doesn't have an eye, he doesn't eat, he doesn't see, he doesn't smell. These are the statements in the Vedas. Therefore, it's very clear when you say doesn't have a leg, doesn't have a hand, doesn't have eyes, doesn't have a nose, doesn't eat, doesn't sleep. That means what? It doesn't exist. It's as good as saying it doesn't exist. But what Adi Shankara says is, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. It cannot be describable. Something which cannot be described, indescribable. One cannot just simply describe by words. That which cannot be described by the word is called Brahman. That Brahman is Satyam. Satyam means it truth. It is real. It exists. Okay, if it exists, tell me something about it. Does it have a quality? Does it do some activities? What? Tell me something about it. You cannot simply say it's not describable. Well, not describable meaning it is very clear. We can understand that it does not no qualities, no activities, no limbs, no, it doesn't go through any changes, it doesn't have attributes, it doesn't have any forms. Nirguna, Nirvishesha, Nirupadika, Niravyaya, Nirakara, or Nishkakriya, all these things are nish. That means it doesn't do any of these things, but it is there. It is existing. That's all. It is not male or female. You cannot put a gender to it. Nothing, but it exists. Then one may ask a question in the interesting part of in childhood time, which I have to mention here is one time Shankara's mother told Shankara to go so get some flowers from the yard, from the back, so she can do a puja. And she told him to get some flowers, 10 flowers. And Shankara went to the back to get some flowers. It was her childhood time. At that time, he was a boy, young boy. He said, "Ye come," he put it in the basket. And then he took a second flower. Ye come, ekam means one. Okay. He took the third flower. He said, "Ye come." He took the fourth flower. Ye come, ekam, ekam, ekam. He started taking all the flowers, but only kept on selling ekam, 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 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. It is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He said everything has one. His mother came, said, "Shankara, what happened to you? You didn't learn the numbering system properly? You're collecting so many flowers, you tell one." And Shankara's response was, this is way before he gave commentaries on Brahma Sutra. He said, "Mother, I don't see any differences between these flowers. They all look one and the same to me. I don't differentiate any of these things. They all look one and the same to me." That was his philosophy right from the starting, Advaitam, Advaita philosophy. Right? Now comes the question, well, if Adi Shankara bases his philosophy on the Vedas, we also study and hear from the Vedas. The Vedas also speaks about the glories of the Lord. The Lord has a form, beautiful form. He has lotus eyes, his lotus feet. He is compassionate, he is tolerant, he has a vatsalya, parental affection to his beings, all the living beings. So many qualities have been explained about it. How do we understand about that? For that reason, Adi Shankara himself gives explanation. That is, the Brahman is one, Brahman Satyam. But that Brahman is classified into two. One is called Nirguna Brahman. Another one is called Saguna Brahman. Nirguna Brahman means impersonal Brahman, truth. Saguna Brahman means personal truth. Personal truth. He says that the ultimate truth is Nirgunam. Doesn't have a form, doesn't have a name, doesn't have attributes, doesn't go through any changes, doesn't have qualities, doesn't have any parts. That is the ultimate Brahman that everyone have to attain. But for one to attain that Brahman, it is not easy. Therefore, one adapt a replica or something which is there, which can connect us to that Nirguna Brahman called Saguna Brahman. Saguna Brahman. Sarguna Brahman is just for us to get started with. So you go to the temple, you worship a murti, you do some puja, you meditate upon the murti, all those things. For one who does not have that level of highest understanding of Nirguna Brahman, they have to catch hold of this Brahman called Saguna Brahman. Saguna. So he classified Brahman into Nirguna Brahman and Saguna Brahman. Saguna Brahman is personal form, whereas Nirguna Brahman is impersonal form. Saguna Brahman is considered as the lowest in the rung, whereas the Nirguna Brahman is considered as the highest in the rung. Okay. In other words, the terms has been your Vyavaharika, but empirical reality. It's a common reality where everyone can relate to it. But then Paramarthikam, the ultimate reality is that the Brahman is formless. So the Saguna Brahman is very useful for Jivatma to get started until that Jivatma can see and relate himself with that Brahman. Until that point, it continues to worship a particular murti. Now, once it's understood, then Saguna Brahman is removed from the picture. One focuses on the Nirguna Brahman. Then what happens is that the Atma, he comes to a realization that this Atma and that Nirguna Brahman is one and the same. This is called Aikyam. Aikyam means to unite, to union between me and that Brahman. It's one and the same. This is called the Nirguna Brahman. Understand, this is how one should understand this philosophy of why even the Advaiti, followers of Advaita, do the deity worship, do pujas, worship murtis, and etc. This is because to get started with. But once you are in that highest stage, You don't need to do any of these things. It's not needed. By worshipping Saguna Brahman, one's Atma, why do we have to worship? What is the benefit of doing these things? Is that one's Atma get purified. They elevate, the consciousness get elevated, and they can come to a stage of paramarthika stage of understanding the reality, the Brahman is Nirgunam. And that is the stage where one can attain mukti. And this is the teachings of Advaita philosophy. And until that point, one can understand and glorify the gunas of that Brahman. God is so beautiful. God is compassionate. God is tolerant. His eyes are lotus, like a lotus flower. He smiles and he plays flute and he plays with gopis. All those things are wonderful. Very nice. It is all going to purify our consciousness. As we get purified with our consciousness, then we will come to a realization that Brahman is none other than myself. I am that Brahman. Now the question comes, what is that stopping me to directly understand Nirguna Brahman? Why I have to go through the Saguna Brahman? That is where we have to get into this next topic called Maya. Ya means to see. Ma means not to see, or in a simple terms, that which cannot be seen, or that which is not is called Maya. Maya means that which is not to be real. What happened? For this nice example we can give is a person who is entering into a dark room which is very slight, some light, very slight light. So he sees a rope in the front. He sees this rope and he is thinking that, oh, there's a snake there. Right? There's a snake. But if the door and windows are wide open, then you can understand it is not a snake. Actually, it is a rope. It's a rope. Thinking likewise, thinking everything to be real. My father is real, my mother is real, my wife is real, my children are real, my job is real, the money that I'm making and putting into the bank is real, the car is real, my house is real, everything is real, is complete ignorance. It's all ignorance. Thinking oneself to this body is also an ignorance. The extension of all that we are having around us to be real is also an ignorance. Like how we are seeing a rope to be a snake. But how can I understand this is not real? This is actually a rope. How do I understand everything that I have around me is unreal? Only one, which is Brahman, is real, and that Brahman is I. How do we come to an understanding? Only when the doors are open. When the light comes into the room, then we can understand. That is jnana. Understanding everything to be unreal and realizing oneself to see that oneself to be the real one, everything else to be unreal, is called the real jnana as per Advaita philosophy. Look at Advaita philosophy. Everything is false, everything is unreal, not real, everything is Maya. And when I understand, when I get the knowledge that it is all unreal, then I attain that jnana. Now, the Maya is of two categories. The two categories of Maya that has been told here, where one type of Shakti, Avarana Shakti. Avarana Shakti means that which covers. Avarana means to let. You take a pot and you close it. Avarana Shakti, to close it, right? So Avarana Shakti is that Shakti which closes the Brahman itself. Now please understand, it is in Advaita philosophy, Atma is one, right? Who's been impacted by Maya? The Brahman itself getting covered by Maya, Avarana Shakti. Brahman is covered by the Maya. Vikshepa Shakti, Maya is the second quality of Maya. It shows the Maya, it shows the world that as if it is the real. Everything that I'm seeing now is all real. I'm speaking is real, your hearing is real, this laptop is real, this light is real, this room is real. Maya makes us to feel that everything around us is real, actual, right? And another duty of Maya is to cover us, our real identity, to cover our real identity, Avarana Shakti, Vikshepa Shakti. These are the two things that Maya does to us. But when we attain knowledge, these two things get removed from us. The jnana comes Avarana Shakti, that I will come to a realization, understanding that I am that Brahman. Brahman is not anywhere else. I am that Brahman, and everything else I am seeing here is unreal. It's not real at all. And when a person comes to this stage, then that person is said is attained mukti according to the Advaita SiddhAntam. According to the Advaita SiddhAntam. Now, for anyone to say these things, we should understand we are talking about Jivatma. Here, Jivatma. What is the philosophy of Jivatma according to Advaita philosophy? Brahmaiva Jivan. Brahmaiva Jivan. The Brahman is Jivan. Jiva is Brahman. Brahman is Jivan. There is no difference between Jiva and Brahman. There is nothing called Paramatma and Jivatma. It is only one Atma that exists everywhere. Only one Atma. Atmas are not multiple. Only one Atma that exists. That is Brahman. Until it realizes it's Brahman, it can be referred as Jivatma. Well, how do you say this one? For anything that we have to say, Pramanam is Shabda Pramanam. We already saw this one, right? Shabda Pramanam, is it told in the Vedas? What Shankara is telling, has it been accepted by the Vedas? Yes, Shankara says, yes, it is there in the Vedas. Tat Tvamasi, Tat Tvamasi. I am Tat Tvamasi, Tat Tvamasi. I am that. I am that means I am that Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi is another statement in Vedas. Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi, and there are many quotations are there. This is well known two statements from the Upanishad. Tattvamasi, I am that. So one has to start meditating. I am that. I am that. I am that. And you'll come to a realization of he is that Brahman. Brahman is not something different. He is that Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. I am that Brahman. So why he is not able to realize this one? Because of these two Shaktis of Maya, Avarana Shakti, Vikshepa Shakti. One Shakti is covering that he is Brahman, not letting him to think that he is Brahman. Another Shakti is showing him everything to be real, as it is real. Everything is real. That is why the Jivatma start thinking Annamaya Kosham. Annamaya Kosham means he is thinking the body is the base of everything. First thing is that body is all. I'm living to feed my body. I have to eat nicely, live nicely. That's the goal of my life. So that's how the starting initially. Then he comes to a realization that no, Annamaya Kosham is a beginning stage. It is not true. Pranamaya Kosham. Even there are people who can live without food. How is that possible? The prana, the life force within the body, is a main driving factor for the existence. Then he comes to our understanding of pranamaya kosham. Then he says, if prana is not the only end of it, there is something which is beyond the prana called manas. So manomaya kosham and the buddhimaya kosham, vijnanamaya kosham, he comes to a final understanding that I am that Brahman. I am that Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. He comes to that particular realization. And Shankara's complete teaching is based on this principle that Brahman and Atma are one and the same. There is only one Brahman, there is only one Atma, there is no multiple Atma, as others say. We have to understand this Advaita philosophy, very important philosophy to understand, because any other philosophy you're going to study after this point is going to be based on this philosophy. If we don't understand Advaita philosophy, we cannot understand other philosophy, what they're trying to talk. Now the questions comes, what does Shankara says about how to get rid of this Avarana Shakti, Vikshepa Shakti, how to get rid of this Maya? What is that one need to do? What is the solution? Sadhana Chatustaya. He gives a sadhana Chatustaya. That is, he gives 4 ways for one to elevate to a point to come to an understanding that I am Brahman. I am that Brahman. Aham Brahmasmi. Nirguna Brahman is the ultimate goal of life. So how do we understand Vivekam? First one is discrimination. First one he says is discrimination. What is right thing to do? What is wrong thing to do? What is Nityam? What is Anityam? One has to start discriminating these things. This is the first step. According to the Advaita school of thought, this is the very first thing sadhana Chatustaya is called, the 4 steps to progress, Vivekam, to discriminate what is Nityam, what is Anityam. That is, I am Nityam, everything else is Anityam. That is the first thing we have to start discriminating. Second, within the Viveka, what is Sat and what is Asat? What is that which exists? What is that which doesn't exist? Right? This is the second thing within the we have to be able to discriminate. We have been seeing that my father was there, now he is no more. Where is he? He is no more, he is gone. I've seen many people like that. I've seen some product, some object, and it get destroyed, completely gone. So we can see that these things are matter. Matters get destroyed, but the Atma does not get destroyed. Atma is the only truth. Everything else is asat, is going to be finished one point of time. Viveka Jnanam is needed. Vairagyam. Vairagya means detachment or not being attached to the, because this is as we start discriminating things between Sat and Asat, Nitya and Anitya, that the second thing follows is Vairagyam. Then we'll start developing detachment, not being attached to the Asat and Anitya things, that which is going to be destroyed, that which is not permanent. Our interest will not be there. It will naturally become detached from those things, because we know it is not real and is not going to be permanent. Therefore, my Vairagyam increases, detachment towards those things. When the detachment increases, at the same time, what happens? Sadhana sampati. Sadhana sampati means the wealth that one has to gain is to the controlling of mind, the internal senses and external senses. A sense of mind, a sense of seeing, sense of smelling, sense of touching, sense of speaking. All those things has to be practiced and come into the control, and the tolerance and having faith in our practice. It's very important. If we don't have faith in what we are practicing, we are not going to reach the goal. We will definitely not going to reach the goal. As long as we have doubt, whatever we practice is not going to be fructified. It's not going to give good results. When we are following something, we should have complete faith. Yes, I'm following the right path. Whether it's the Advaita philosophy, whether it's the vishishtAdvaita philosophy, whether it's Achintya, bedAbheda, tattva, whatever it may be, one should have the faith in what they're following to get the end result. Therefore, over here, the faith is very important. That Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, I am that. Right? So how do you do that? Start controlling the mind, controlling the senses. How to control the senses? Well, you know that these things are unreal. You're already getting detached from that one. By Viveka Jnana, by Vairagyam, by Sadhana Sampati, then one becomes a qualified person to attain moksha. His intense desire to wanting to attain moksha, the longing desire for liberation comes into existence. Mumukshutvam. Mumukshutvam means a person get qualified to think about moksha. To increase dense of interest to attain moksha. These are the four things that has been told in Advaita philosophy, that one can attain and come to that stage of where one can attain moksha. Now, what happens to that person if he is following these 4 steps that's been told? The first thing is that understands that I am not this body. By following this thing, he comes to an understanding that I am not this body. And he comes to an understanding that Nirgunam and Sagunam are one and the same. There is no difference to each of these things. They are one and the same. There's no difference. One is to just elevate one to come to the stage of Nirguna Brahman. That's all. But they are one and the same. It's not 2 different things. So this is the result by practicing the 4-step formula that's been given. One comes to an understanding that I'm not the body, and Nirgunam and the ultimate goal of life, and Nirgunam and Sagunam are one and the same. When he comes to that stage of understanding to a realization, I am this Atma, I am that Brahman, it is said as per the Advaita philosophy, he has already attained mukti, is already attained liberation. According to the Advaita philosophy, Shankara's philosophy, it is not that one has to leave the body and go to a place to attain mukti, something called Swarga, something called Vaikunta. It is nothing like that. It is nothing like that. In the same body, while he's in the body, when he comes to a realization of Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, he has attained mukti at that very time. That is called Jivan Mukti. That's called Jivan Mukti. But when he leaves the body, videha mukti, he attains videha mukti, which is nothing but he leaves the body and attains the mukti. One aikyam, one becomes one and the same with Brahman. So this is what the mukti as per Advaita philosophy. Then now the question comes, well, this is all good. Why are we adding Shankara's Advaita philosophy over here in this course, which is called the flavors of Vaishnavism, right? Flavors of Vaishnavism. If you're going to read any script, any philosophy, any schools of thought, right? Shankara's Advaita philosophy is a foundation, is a base to take any further to any other schools of thought. He saved the Sanatana Dharma, so the credit goes to Shankara. And if it was not for Shankara, it would have been very difficult, even for the following Acharyas, because Shankara put the beautiful road to Sanatana Dharma, which was completely destroyed. Shankara put the fantastic road for the rest of the Acharyas to come and walk, make a king size, walking like walk on the street. It was, the all credits goes to Shankara, who saved, established Vedas, brought that God is real, Brahman is real, it is not fake. And he established and brought the faith in the people's heart. Therefore, we are indebted to Shankara for what he has done. For any, it would be any schools of thought for that matter, we have to pay our obeisances to Shankara for what he has done. That's number one. Number two is Saguna Brahman. Shankara also accepted the form of worship. Of course, the form of worship is considered the lower grade of worship. Nirguna Brahman is a top grade of worship, but nevertheless, he accepted Saguna Brahman. But here's the important thing. When he accepted the Saguna Brahman, that Saguna Brahman, what he mentioned is all Narayana as a Saguna Brahman, Vishnu as Saguna Brahman. No other God he mentioned as a Saguna Brahman. Right? This is why he is also must be accepted as a Vaishnava in one sense. In one sense, we have to accept him as a Vaishnava, because wherever he said Brahman, Saguna Brahman, he mentions that Saguna Brahman to be Narayana. Now the question is, what is the proof? How do you say this one? Now we are going to see some points from his writings itself. So we are almost coming to the end of this one. We may go a little extra few minutes. Kindly bear with me. We'll complete it. Now in the Upanishad, he, as we said, that he has given many commentaries on the Upanishad. So in his Upanishad, he says that in his commentary, Vasudeva, it is Vishnu. Tat Vishnoho Vyapna Shilaisya Brahmanaha Paramatmaha Vasudevakasya Paramam Prakshutam Padam Sthanam. Prakshutam Padam Sthanam. Where he says that when he gave the commentary to this particular statement in the Upanishad, Tat Vishnoho Paramam Padam, this is a Kato Upanishad statement. In his commentary, he says that Vishnu is the ultimate worshipper, to be worshipped. Next, in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, also is Antaryami, where he says Antaryami is Narayana. This is the exact word of Shankara in his commentary. He says very clearly that Yet Krit Keshwara Narayana Akyaha. That means he says that Antaryami is Narayana. And then he goes on giving commentaries in many places. Then we'll go to the Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, in the introduction, where Shankara in his Gita Bhashya, he says that the Lord is Vishnu. Narayana and Vishnu are the one and the same. He is the one who created everything in the first place. And then to the 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, in the 10th sloka, Vasudeva Sarvamidhi Sa Mahatma Su Durlabha, he says that very clearly, Tasmat Jignyaninaha Vasudevaha, he says Vasudevaha over there. Vasudevaha is the Atma present in everyone. Okay. Antavantu Phalam Deham. So he says in the 7th chapter, again in the 23rd Phalam, where the demigod worship has been mentioned, He says ultimately it is Vishnu who gives the phalam. He doesn't see any other God's name over there. It is Vishnu who gives the phalam. And again, he goes on to the 9th chapter, 23rd sloka to 25th sloka. He mentions the same thing. Ultimate result of any worship is honored by Vishnu alone. He doesn't mention any other God's name over there. Now, in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna is explaining about his universal form, not showing the universal form, about his explaining about the universal form, he says, it is that Lord Vishnu who is present within every living entity, also is present in the Prakriti. And he also explained the auspicious qualities of that Brahman. Then in the 12th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where he speaks about the Swarupa, the nature of Vishnu, that Vishnu is a Param Purusha. He is a Parama Purusha. So here also he mentions that thing. And he goes to the Vishnu Sahasranama. In the Vishnu Sahasranama, many places, in all different places, he also says that different names like Ishvara, Shiva, Shambhu, and all the different names it's referring to Vishnu alone, no one else. We don't have much time to go through the details of each and everything, but there are a lot of references, lot of places where Adishankara, when he says Saguna Brahman, he means it is Vishnu, it is Narayana, no other Devata. And then Bhaja Govindam, as we saw in Bhaja Govindam, he mentions it is Govinda alone who can protect us, who can save us. He mentions that also over there. So in this way, we can understand, in the time where he was in difficult situation, where he was coming back to his original body, he didn't pray to any other god other than Lakshmi Narayana. So you can understand from all the things is SiddhAdvaita, Shankara's SiddhAdvaita, and once that he worshipped as a Saguna Brahman is Narayana, Vishnu, no one else. And to conclude, the Narayana Bhattadri, who wrote Narayaniyam, is nothing but a collection, condensed version of Srimad Bhagavatam. It's very famous. Narayanam, very famous. He's from Kerala, but he is a follower of Advaita philosophy. Over here, he says that, I'm going to just read this one. He says, Adishankaracharya, at the time of death, he was also worshipping Narayana in his beautiful form. He is the one who gave commentaries on Gita, Upanishad, and Brahma Sutra. But then at the time of death, he was worshipping the Supreme Lord Narayana as his Devata, his worshipable deity. So that is mentioned by Narayana Bhattadri. Now, to summarize, what we have seen today is Vedas was lost at one point of time or misused at one point of time, and people took advantage of this and they started inserting their philosophy to reject Vedas and to reject Brahman. And then Adi Shankaracharya came, he recovered Vedas and then established faith and bhakti in the heart of people. And then he traveled all over the places to teach his philosophy called Advaitam. And he established his SiddhAnta by establishing Mat in 4 places. And he also glorified Vishnu as a Saguna Brahman. His philosophy is simple, very simple in one sense, that Atma is one, Brahman is that Atma, Jiva Atma is that Atma, Brahman is that Atma, Jivatma, and everything else around is false. It is not real. Atma and Paramatma, Brahman and Atma, one and the same. Mukti is coming to an understanding of this realization is called Mukti, called Jivan Mukti. And that when the body is left, that Atma merges or becomes one with the cosmic, the entire, the Brahman. And that is called Mukti. So with that said, I'll pause here right on time, noon, 12 o'clock here. And thank you all very much for joining us today. If you have any questions, any comments, Please use our WhatsApp group to post your questions, and we'll address them as separately. And we'll be giving the material and also the self-assessment link for you all to go through this one. Thank you all very much.